This is where another daughter of India was assaulted. A 35-year-old woman abducted by 3 men, gang raped for 8 hours and then pushed out of a moving car.
This is the very spot where a woman in her 30s was allegedly abducted and thrown out of a moving car here in Kasna in Greater Noida. The woman was abducted and allegedly gang raped from Sohna, where she was kidnapped late yesterday night, and she was taken all the way to Kasna here in Greater Noida in moving car, where she was repeatedly gang raped by 3 men in a white Swift.
Gang raped and left to die at this desolate spot in Greater Noida. She was spotted by passerbys and taken to a hospital.
पीड़ित के अनुसार उसका यहाँ पे रेप किया गया था, तो वो अस्पताल के प्राथमिक उपचार के लिए हमारे पास लाया गया। हमने प्राथमिक उपचार कर दिया, उसके बाद सब पुलिस और सब महकमा आ गया था। उसके बाद वो लोग उसको डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल ले गए, जहाँ उसका फाइनल एग्जामिनेशन और जो भी रेप की पुष्टि होगी वो वहाँ पे होगी।
Her medical condition is testimony to the ordeal she suffered, and yet her fight for justice is now caught in a jurisdiction tussle because she was kidnapped from Gurugram and flung onto the streets of Noida.
किसी जो क्लोज रिलेटिव हैं, जैसे भाई बहन या हस्बैंड का, किसी का कोई मोबाइल नंबर अभी नहीं बताया है। हालांकि उसने गांव का नाम और वो डिटेल्स बताई है, तो उस आधार पर हम लोग ट्रेस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, उससे जानकारी प्राप्त करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
जो दोषी हैं वो दोषियों ने उसको गुड़गांव के आसपास किसी जगह से लेके गए थे। अब उस सारी हालात पे नोएडा पुलिस के द्वारा जब गुड़गांव पुलिस से संपर्क किया गया तो ज्वाइंट उस पर कार्रवाई की गई, तो कुछ तथ्य सामने आए जिसके चलते अभी नोएडा पुलिस ने उसमें एफआईआर दर्ज कर ली है।
Instead of protecting citizens, the police is either scampering to wash its hands of matters or catching a few winks during duty.
Whatever is required under the law, the protection, the investigation, help to be given to the Haryana police shall be given by the UP government.
This isn't the first time we've raised questions about the lawlessness rampant in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Less than a month ago, a 26-year-old was brutalized and the police are yet to make any arrests. Clearly, no lessons learned, as more and more women fall prey to the ineptitude of the administration. Will the Uttar Pradesh government pull up its police for their inaction and negligence towards their duty? Mirror Now report.
You're watching the urban debate here on Mirror Now. I'm Frida Souza. Thank you for tuning in. This is the question we're asking. What will it take really for the government of Uttar Pradesh and Haryana to sit up and take notice of what's happening? This is the second such case, and shocking similarity between the two cases, where a woman was picked up in a moving car, was gang raped for several hours as the car drove around the NCR region and was finally dumped onto the streets. A case had taken place exactly like this on the 15th of May. 15th of May, and the police is yet to make any arrests in that case. A very shockingly similar case now taking place yesterday in the city of Gurgaon. What does it need? What does the government of Gurgaon, the police of Gurgaon need to make its women safer? Why is it that no arrests have been made up till now? Why is it that the safety of women is taken so lightly in these states? Joining me on the show this evening, Raman Mallik, spokesperson of the Haryana BJP, Priyanka Chaturvedi, national spokesperson of the Congress, Nilanjana Chakraborty is a social activist, Mr. Uday Sahay, former IPS, joins us in the Delhi studio, Sujay Kantawala is a senior advocate, and Shamina Shafiq is a former member of the National Commission for Women. I welcome all of you to this conversation. I want to start with Shamina Shafiq. Ms. Shafiq, we've had this conversation before. The Rohtak gang rape case, Haryana's Nirbhaya still doesn't have a charge sheet. Over a month has passed. The 26-year-old who was gang raped in that car for 5 hours on the 15th of May, 0 arrests have been made, and now one more. It seems like the government of Haryana is just not taking this seriously.
Obviously not. Had they been taking it seriously, I mean, we were not discussing this issue right now. you know what, unfortunately for the police, whether it is Haryana, whether it is Delhi, whether it is Noida, especially I'm saying these three cities because we are talking about NCR. For them, I mean, it's just one of the cases. It happened because that's it. They are least bothered about the seriousness of the case. The government is least interested about the safety of women in public spaces. And as far as patrolling of police vehicles are concerned, you can see it for yourself. Do a cross-check and you'll find in what scenario and how these so-called police patrolling is done. So obviously, I mean, such cases are bound to happen again and again. And I'm very sorry to say this, but this is going to happen because the criminals are getting ideas. Now they see that, okay, this is a wonderful way of brutalizing, raping, molesting women, because once you are moving in a car, nobody is going to check you. And there are people who are checked for their seat belts and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to a woman who's been molested or raped or ripped off, I mean, nobody even cares and bothers. Besides, I mean, what happened to lightening of the roads, of the highways, especially if you go back to the Bulandshahr rape case, the road rage, I think which happened almost 1.5 years ago, and there was such huge talk about no, we'll ensure that women are safe on the national highways at least. But what happened? I think it's for them to answer. Last time also I had said they need to give us point-wise as to what they are going to do to ensure that there are no such rapes happening in the country. But no police officer, no party spokesperson actually comes up with any such recommendations. And this is why we are seeing what is happening and what is happening.
You know, I want to bring in Uday Sahay. Uday Sahay, very, very senior police officer, retired police officer. Mr. Sahay, tell me this: 2 cases where a woman is kidnapped in a moving car, is gang raped for several hours while that car drives, in this particular case from Gurgaon to Noida, crossing 2 state lines from Haryana to Delhi to UP. Please tell me, what needs to happen for this car to cross 2 toll booths and reach the other side, another state, without anybody discovering what is happening in this car?
This is again a very shocking incident. No point in reiterating the obvious. But the point is that 8 hours during the night, 80 kilometers you travel with a glass up, many pickets you cross, barricades you cross, the toll, points you cross, and yet you are not noticed. And this speaks of the entire lawlessness of not only one state, 3 states, who have not even thought of any coordination among themselves except for forming a what they call NCR board, and which meets once in a while to discuss over a cup of tea or lunch, but it doesn't come down to the grassroots level. As a result of which, there is no actual coordination amongst the police of these 3 states, or even for that matter Rajasthan. This is the time, perhaps, when you have BJP government in all the 4 states. In a way, even Delhi is under the center, Delhi police is under the center. You cross Haryana, which is a BJP state. You cross Delhi, which is under the center and hence in that sense BJP. You go to UP, which is BJP. You even touch, if in some other case, Rajasthan. The entire area is governed by one party. And there's no reason why now you can talk of lack of coordination and do something which is very, very hard-hitting and have a zero tolerance for such cases where women feel unsafe. And zero tolerance doesn't mean only rape. Yeah, if you're not getting sensitive about smaller crime, it will lead to bigger crime. If you're not sensitive to eve teasing, it will lead to molestation. If you're not sensitive to molestation, it will land up in a situation of rape. And the worst of all is gang rape. Now,
here to the police is not sensitive towards rape.
I'll give you an answer. I mean, many of our colleagues, and it's quite shameful for me to admit, say that 90% of the case, and I keep reading this in newspaper and hearing it out on television shows, that 90% of the cases are happening within the confine of the house, by the relatives, by the friends, by family, etc., etc. We must get out of this mindset that this is not a situation like this. These are broad daylight, serious, heinous crime happening, and in that sense they affect the entire public order. They affect the psyche of women who are working. They affect every woman who is walking on the road for her work or whatever.
Mr. Sahay, let me bring in Raman Mallik on this. Raman Mallik is the spokesperson of the Haryana BJP, and I know he wants to come in. Raman Mallik, here are my questions. We had this conversation on the 15th of May, on the 16th of May, and for a few days after that, where you assured us swift action in the case of the gang rape that happened in Gurgaon. Still no arrests have been made, no identification other than the sketch that was released back then, no progress. Obviously emboldening more people to go out and commit the same crime, saying if the police is not going to arrest anybody, obviously this is a free-for-all in the state of Haryana. You can pick up whoever you want, you can rape whoever you want, you can drive your car around for as many hours as you want. They're never going to find us. The police is never going to arrest anybody. So obviously now people are going to think that this is a done thing. This is what happens in Haryana. It's a free-for-all, Mr. Raman Mallik. Please tell me, why would women feel that they're safe in the city of Gurgaon?
See, Faye, let me tell you one thing very upfront. Whereas in the case of the girl who had come from the northeast and that particular case is concerned, the feedback given by that girl is being processed, but the feedback is only limited and is not substantial in nature. So these sketches and everything have been circulated, and people as described by her are being found out. One must understand that if at any point there is a support evidence that says, let's say a CCTV or anything else which comes, it is easier to identify the particular person. But when it comes to only a description, you are based only on the description of the victim. So you are telling me, Mr.
Raman Mallik, that it is possible to drive around the NCR region for 5 hours and not come into any CCTV camera at all. You are telling me it is possible to drive a car around the NCR region for 5 hours and cross state limits, go past the toll naka, go past a toll bridge, 8 hours in this case, 5 hours in the previous case, and not come into any CCTV camera at all. If anything else, what you're proving to me on this show today is that this city is unsafe. How can you not have any CCTV cameras? Why don't you have CCTV cameras at the toll bridges where people pay toll and anything happening? Are you telling me there's no CCTV camera there?
Okay, so let's understand this. A police personnel or a toll collector who is sitting there on the toll plaza will definitely identify a situation where, let's say, a male and a female are having an argument or a physical action of any sort, or they are even fighting. This would be particularly noticed. If in that case it is not detected, then yes, I do fully agree with your statement that the cops are not doing 100% job. But if, let's say, in that situation this is not detected, that or there is no fight, or let's say understand or visibly an event or any such thing which alerts the person around your vehicle, then it becomes another situation where the investigating officer has to go by with the description of the victim, and the accused has to be found out in a particular manner. See,
I want to bring in right now Sujay Kantawala. No, Sujay Kantawala.
Let's say if I give you a figure and somebody draws it out,
Raman Mallik is suggesting that the victim
it would not
did not
be
struggle.
something which is a concrete evidence. It
that
is
the victim did not scream enough.
Your particular remembrance of the event and that person, and the person is traumatized.
Oh, I don't want to politicize this whole
The act
thing.
of the police has been justified.
I don't want to politicize this whole thing, but Mr. Mallik should be a little more sensitive, and he should not try and justify the inadequacies that have happened. Today we are sitting on a very, very serious debate, and in fact, I am ashamed to say this, that we are going through our darkest hours, that every day we are seeing our women being traumatized, gang raped. And this moving car syndrome that is being noticed itself should have propelled Mr. Mallik to say that, look, we are going to increase our checkposts, we are going to have regular patrolling, we are going to increase our CCTV cameras. That is the response we wanted. But Mr. Mallik has been trying to justify. 1 minute, let me complete. Mr. Mallik, you had promised us in that incident that in 48 hours there would be arrest. Not a single arrest has taken place. You had promised us that in 2 days I'll report back to you that last debate that we had, but it has not come back. Now let me tell you this, we are a friend of mine, he knew that I was coming on the debate, sent me a paper cutting about a 108-year-old woman being raped in Jabalpur. He has sent me, there are cuttings available where 1-year-old, 2-year-old children are being raped. Now is this what our culture teaches us? Therefore, the fear of the law is not there in these rapists. These kind of heinous acts that are taking place shows that all across the country, let's not politicize that this state, that state. Let us be sensitive to the topic at hand. Here we are seeing a rising trend in crimes against women, and there is no fear in these rapists. In fact, they are grouping up as gangs, and they are taking law into their own hands.
I want to bring in Priyanka Chaturvedi. Priyanka, the scary part of this is we've had the cops, the police between Uttar Pradesh and Haryana pass the buck. She was kidnapped in Gurgaon, she was dumped in Noida. Is it your problem or is it my problem? Obviously, the perpetrators of this crime have figured out that there is a huge law and order issue within the NCR region, that if you actually drive across state borders, which is very easy to do in the NCR, the police become completely useless. They're not able to do anything. They cannot find or stop a car, they cannot identify the car, they cannot find, they cannot identify these people. 35 days has passed since the previous case, Priyanka, and the police seem to be completely clueless. The same police officers are giving us identical responses as they had done in the previous case, saying, oh, we've asked for her testimony, hum tahqiqat karenge, hum investigation karenge. For how long are we going to accept this sort of weak responses from the police?
No, so firstly we need to understand, we shift the blame only on the police force. When we talk about such incidents coming to light, there are 4 scenarios that exist. One is the mindset of the people, the society that we live in. Second is the police force. Once the crime, the police force needs to work towards prevention of this crime rather than working on it after the crime has been committed. We see a lack of response even there. We don't see support structure for women who have been victimized like this, or any support coming from the police force. Police force passes the buck by saying we have lesser people in our staff. That's why patrolling happens lesser. We do not have enough evidence to take forward this entire charge. Then the third setup is a judicial inquiry that happens, and it takes forever and ever for any woman to get justice there. So all these 3 come under the government, under the scope of the government, and it becomes the government's responsibility. Now, is government prioritizing women's safety and women's security is a question that needs to be asked today. So if the police force says that, you know, we realize that police force is not sensitive enough, are we doing enough to sensitize our police forces? Are we doing enough to ensure that they have adequate staff to ensure patrolling happens regularly? Are we doing enough to ensure that we have enough budgets to have street lights, which makes mechanism system for a woman to look forward to support, and judicial system, a judicial system which
right. Right, and Priyanka's making an excellent point. But the point is simply this: whoever's in the government today, if you're not able to arrest these people after 35 days in the national capital region, consider the gravity of what we're saying. The national capital region. It is possible right now to kidnap a woman, rape her all night in a moving car for 5 hours, for 8 hours, drive around this entire region, then dump her on the side of the road and drive away. And the police has no clue. They are absolutely useless and helpless. That is where we are today. That is where we stand. Nilanjana Chakraborty is social activist. Nilanjana, I don't know if this is fault of government or if this is fault of police, but it seems like a collective breakdown of law and order.
I think it's a completely breakdown of the administrative machinery. It goes without mention, first thing. Second thing is, be it any government, the fact of the matter remains that the government has to take responsibility. I mean, whichever party you may belong to. And thirdly is, I think also the opposition, you know, they are fighting, they are screaming for all kinds of causes. But when it comes to women's safety, women's security, I mean, that's hardly any issue. And as far as the police is concerned, I think as Priyanka Chaturvedi just now rightly said, that you know, they pass the buck between each other. I mean, how many times have we seen this? It's time we actually implemented the recommendations of the Verma Commission, which have not been implemented. I mean, I really don't know why. How many more cases do we need to have, you know, in order to, you know, actually have a proper judicial reform in this case?
On the legality,
and just look at this situation. No,
yes.
Let me finish, please. And on the, sorry?
Yeah, Nilanjana, go ahead. Nilanjana, go ahead. Finish your point, and I'll go back to Sujay and Uday Sahay.
Yeah. And another thing that I really want to say is, where are we headed for? Where are the CCTV cameras? Why don't we have prompt action? I think essentially the number of rape cases that are happening today, we really need to have a separate, you know, department in the ministry itself, you know, to actually solve them. I mean, it really needs to be prioritized. It's absolutely of no consequence. You know, we've had thanas and police station where there are women, but what is the use? I mean, it comes back to the same thing. And where are the deterrent factors? We don't have any deterrents. No matter what, you just look at the modus operandi of all these cases, they are all in the same line and pattern. It's very, very obvious that they realize that, you know, nothing is going to happen. They realize that nothing is going to happen.
Let me take this back. Let me take this back to Sujay Kantawala. Sujay, the scary part is that Gurgaon claims to be a big city. What sort of confidence are we giving right now to the residents of that city? That anybody can kidnap you from outside your house, rape you, toss you on the side of the street like a used up doll. Yes, I will come back to you, Raman Mallik. I have several questions for you. I just want Sujay to come in right now on the legality. Sujay, go ahead.
The police manual itself says that the victim can approach the nearest police station, and the police is duty bound to register and lodge an FIR. This kind of hair splitting that this happened in one state and she crossed over and we went to the other state, that is not permissible. The law provides that if FIR has to be registered and the criminal law has to kick into action. That fear has to be there. Unless that fear is there that the police are going to round up people and they are going to take immediate action and start arresting people, and immediate charge sheet to be filed, and that's it. Fast track the thing and ensure the conviction. If that does not happen by example, then we are looking at dark days ahead. So therefore, I feel that as our urban cities are getting more and more congested, these kind of miscreants, these kind of heinous acts are likely to increase. And therefore, it is very incumbent on the police force. And they have to educate themselves, they have to sensitize themselves. Because in this case, in these kind of cases, the victim goes through severe trauma. So that all-round development is required. And therefore, I request Mr. Mallik to be a little more sensitive, not to be adversarial as always, and thereafter accept the suggestions which we are giving.
I want to bring Raman Mallik.
If I could hear one person at a time.
The truth is, this comes under the zero FIR. This is not a question of jurisdiction.
Exactly.
Nobody should really care about whether or not this is UP
but then
or
how
this
many
is
people
Haryana.
know?
But Raman Mallik, simple question. A simple question, Raman Mallik. If you are not able to make a single arrest after 35 days of the previous rape, obviously the perpetrators of last night thought that this police force can't do anything. So we can do whatever we want. They'll never find us. Weren't they right, Raman Mallik? Weren't they right in thinking
Maybe
that
they are the
police force
repeat
is useless?
offenders. Maybe they are the repeat offenders.
Right. So let me respond back to you, Faye. Let me respond back to you with something which your own team would be able to verify, because today in the Commissioner of Police's office, I was there discussing this whole incident and everything. There were two other cases which were reported in the last 24 hours. One was about a 7-year-old girl. Another which was about a 5-year-old girl. And for your information, both the culprits in the two cases with these small babies have been already arrested within a matter of few hours. Now, coming back to your particular question on the Northeast girl.
In the state of Haryana,
please let me answer.
In the last 24 hours, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old have been raped.
Irrelevant your entire system has been.
How can this be a good thing?
I'm
verifying it for our viewers today that arrests were made in these cases. But how can you use the fact that these rapes are happening at all? A 5-year-old and a 7-year-old have been raped, Mr. Raman Mallik.
But this is what needs to be seen. This is how casually rape is being discussed in this country.
Make death penalty mandatory for rapists.
I am telling you something. This is about people staying in the vicinity of the house. That is also another point which you are forgetting. And 80% plus rapes happen by people who are
why one needs to justify one act to find out
now policing
the
is one issue, putting them behind bars is another, but sensitizing.
Okay, Raman Mallik, tell me something. Little 5-year-old girls have neighbors, uncles and 5-year-old girls have neighbors, uncles and tempo drivers in their vicinity all over the country. Every 5-year-old girl in this country has a neighbor, has a tempo driver in her neighborhood and has other people that she knows of, uncles that she knows. What is wrong with the people of Haryana? What is wrong in their heads that you are telling me that a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old have been raped in the last 24 hours? You can't tell me that people are just completely crazy. That's not a good enough answer.
I will give you another fact. Major majority of these people who have been caught doing these kind of heinous crime with small little girls and rapes are migrant people in Haryana, are migrant.
Can we discuss safety of women in public space right now?
They're migrants.
Can we discuss safety of women in public space right now?
What does that mean?
When you are talking of smart cities, can we talk of safe cities?
Do that. If a question is asked,
Okay, one second. Let me bring in the women. Shamina Shafiq. Here's the problem. Shamina Shafiq, here's the problem. The problem is migrants. The problem is that the victims know the perpetrators. The problem is that when it's a 5-year-old child and a 7-year-old child, we've managed to arrest someone, but the last two other cases we've not. So there are hundreds of excuses that we can reach out to point out to the fact that there's no safety, Shamina. There's no safety for women. Haryana is not safe for women.
See, I want to quickly make 2-3 points.
Who said it about it? Shamina, I want to hear what Shamina has to say.
Considered to be a very casual affair in this country, unfortunately. The police is not able to segregate the kind of crime which is happening upon women. There are separate kind of scenarios where rapes are taking place. Now this gentleman is talking about children getting raped in their houses, which is again the responsibility of the police. But also safety of women in public spaces is a huge issue. And we discussed this when Dudahera happened.
Something wrong done in my house. How was the police going to prevent it?
Points. Just 3 points. Allow me to speak. I will ask only 3 points. 1. When you are talking about smart cities, What points have you taken into consideration and implemented to ensure that so-called smart cities are safe cities in terms of women's scenario? B, what have you done to ensure that roads are well lit, there are CCTV cameras at important joints, and how the Nirbhaya Fund has been utilized to ensure that women are safe in this country in public spaces? 3, what accountability was fixed on the police personnel in the previous such case which happened where the woman was actually raped in a moving vehicle for 5 hours? What was the accountability that was fixed on the police department then? The police can't get away by saying, oh, we are looking at the sketches. This is not done, and this is not how the political masters, the government need to talk. You need to fix up accountability, and you need to give us 1, 2, 3 steps, that these steps we are taking so that no more such cases happen. Don't mix up these issues. Safety of women is a huge issue. You can't generalize it.
Can I answer now?
You can't generalize it.
Can I answer?
Yes, please.
Well, those are excellent questions being asked. Please. Excellent questions being answered by Shamina Shafiq.
Thank you.
Answer those questions, and I want to go over to Priyanka Chaturvedi as well. Raman Mallik, answer those questions.
The idea of smart city, the idea of smart city and joining all informations together, whether it is Aadhaar or whether it is other documents, whether it is your PAN card joining Aadhaar and other things, the whole system is being developed into a smart system so that all activities
women's safety is obviously not a priority.
Available when required. I will tell you how. I will tell you how. Now let's say tomorrow, few years down the line, there is a system by paying your toll by putting your thumb. At least that information is there. That is one part of it. That is the same way a CCTV would work.
Don't talk of 10
an
years
important
down the
factor.
line. We want action now. It's been 3 years. We want action now.
You know, Raman Mallik, that's not good enough. I'm sorry. Raman Mallik, I'm sorry, but that's just not good enough.
Let me answer.
No, that's not good enough. I want to bring in Priyanka Chaturvedi. Priyanka Chaturvedi, here's the problem.
That you are jumping onto again and again. Please understand, the only identification given by the victim is a basic sketch. That too was drawn by her way she.
Did you want her to collect his Aadhaar card? Did you want her to collect his driver's license and Aadhaar card? What do you want the victim? The victim who is being gang raped, did you want her to get his biometric information? How is this the onus of the victim? How is this the onus of the victim? This is appalling. Let me bring it. No, I'm sorry. This is just.
The cops are doing their part.
What about cases of murder when
it is not the job of the victim.
What will you do?
I'm sorry. This is horrible. This is horrible. Uday Sahay, is it the job of the victim to provide identification of the perpetrator? How can the government turn around and give us this answer? Which means that tomorrow, any woman who is being raped needs to start collecting identification, because obviously the police is completely and utterly useless. Uday Sahay, how can the government turn around and say the victim has not given us any more identification other than this sketch?
We are working with couple of sketches.
I do not know. I do not know whether Mr. Raman Mallik's view is the government view. One, but what is shocking to me is a simple fact that he is not able to pick up the basic of the argument given wonderfully by one of the co-panelists here, that you must make a clear distinction between such heinous cases happening in public places. And public places, you don't compare apples with orange. You just, in this case, you confine yourself to the crimes that are happening in public places against women. And there, what all can you do? Whether or what all you have done? You are not answering that, Ramanji, and that's very important. And you are dishing out. Let me complete. When you were speaking, I was not butting in. When I am speaking, please listen to me.
Sir Mallik,
please listen to me. The point that I am trying to tell you.
What kind of observation?
The point that I am trying to tell you that unfortunately many of us in the government
conversation,
we get into a trap of of the feedback that we get from the police. And the police would give you an answer that, look, most of the rape cases happen and are committed by guys who know the victim. They do not work beyond a point. They are giving it to you, you are dishing it out on the television. It's not your original thought. Please apply your mind what she is saying. She is saying that
NCRB,
how do we handle a smart city?
From National
how
Crime
do we handle a public place?
Has a software
how do we handle
please
a public transport situation
the incest
where woman is not really feeling safe? And today it's Haryana, tomorrow it's
one at a time,
third day it's Delhi,
one at a time.
happening
If you
everywhere.
take the number of rape cases, in incest cases, that is at par or more than the other. Please read the
that's not being discussed here.
Raman Mallik, I want you to stop and take a deep breath before you say anything else. Raman Mallik, don't do this. Don't. I mean, you said in the case where the victim did not know the perpetrators that she's not been able to hand over any more identification other than a sketch. That's the excuse. In other cases, the victim knew the perpetrators that happened in their house, so the police can't do it.
No,
In other cases, the victim is a minor. I mean, stop making excuses. Stop making excuses, Raman Mallik. If we want excuses, there are excuses in every case.
It takes time.
Mr. Mallik, the moving car was in a
time
public space.
The last time you were on the show, you said 2 days. The last time you were on the show, you said 2 days. That was 33 days ago.
Yes, he promised all of us that he would come back in 2 days and report.
Unfortunately, the government is in denial.
Sorry, not good enough. Not good enough.
I do come back with everything. And it is on record. Please ask
Faith. You are not even acknowledging there is a problem. You will not find solution.
I am not denying.
I am feeling so sorry.
I am not denying.
Find solution because you are not acknowledging
I
the
do
problem.
not accept this argument. We are not denying. All that I am saying is, in a population of 1.3 billion, finding 3 sketches is not an easy task. It may take time. You may strike that.
But that's just
Raman Mallik, in digital India, you can trace us down. Why can't you find 3 people? It is the police's job. What you're doing, Raman Mallik, is assuring more criminals who are watching this show right now, saying that, listen, if you make sure that no identification is given, you can get away with it scot-free. That's what you're doing, Raman Mallik.
I guarantee on you this, that if somebody is guilty of doing such crimes in Haryana police and this Haryana present government is not going to spare. Even if it takes years, we will still punish them.
If someone is guilty. Are you questioning the rape at all to begin with, Raman Mallik? Are you questioning the victim? What do you mean if someone is guilty? Are you saying, when you say if someone is guilty, are you questioning the rape, Raman Mallik?
Sorry?
I'm telling you, they are in denial.
Are you questioning the rape? What do you mean when you say if someone is guilty? What do you mean when you say if someone is guilty?
So many people are
Are you questioning the fact that the rape happened at all?
See, a rape... Okay, let me answer that. In any case whatsoever, it is always this, that the victim is there and the victim has given a testimony which is taken to be true, and it is on to the accused to prove his innocence. That is how the law works in these cases. Now, if what I am supposed to understand by your statement, that are you questioning the victim, I can also question you on this, that are you questioning the very onset of the law inscribed by the constitution and other things? We have to accept that anybody
Mr. Mallik, the statement
of these kind of cases has to prove his innocence.
We don't need a lecture.
But if you find him, you cannot even find the accused. Who's going to prove their innocence?
How come such cases are happening?
I am talking.
I want to bring in.
What happened after?
I'm sorry, Raman Mallik, don't teach us the constitution. We do our research. Jagdish is on the phone line from Bangalore. Jagdish, go ahead. Jagdish?
Ma'am, I should congratulate Mirror Now for having identified that perpetrators have found out a loophole. Today we have a fellow being who is gang raped, and we have to find a solution and get the guilt to the law. Now, the national wide, there is a problem today that there is a no man's land in the police language and the police law. What I mean to say is there are 3 roads converging in a junction. One road belongs to jurisdiction A, another road belongs to jurisdiction B, another road belongs to... This is there right now in Karnataka, and we have faced this problem. Today, what we have to look at is find solutions. One, the roads are very poorly lit, and they take the advantage of the darkness. Yes, when it comes to an FIR, we have in our country something called as BSF, the Border Security Force. So on the border, there should be a national law that FIR must be registered first. Later on, decide who takes up the case and how the case goes about it. And today in the police, the only way to bring police to be very active...
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I also want to bring in Iqbal. Iqbal is also on the phone line from Allahabad. Iqbal, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, ma'am. Very, very good evening to all of you. Yes.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Iqbal, okay. Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Yes. I have just 2-3 points. Actually, I want to say 3 things. The problem is not only at the government level. The problem is at social level also, at administration level also. So I want to request, I want to request you. The government of India is holding a lot of programs for physical health. Why is government not holding programs for mental health and also spiritual health?
For mental health as well. Right.
Yes. Why?
Right. Let me go back to that's a good question. I want to go back to Priyanka Chaturvedi. Priyanka Chaturvedi, we say so much about Beti Bachao, but all we've heard so far are excuses. Excuses about the fact that in a lot of cases the victim knows the perpetrator. Excuses about the fact that when the victim doesn't know the accused, then we don't have enough identification because she's not able to provide any sort of details. Where are the street lights? Where are the CCTV cameras? Where is the safety for women?
So firstly, I just want to mention one thing. I would have hoped that today, since I was speaking as a woman before I speak as a spokesperson of the Congress party, I was hoping, please ma'am, I did not interrupt anybody. The question is asked of me. Can I please answer? Please, I've been patiently listening to all of you. Thank you so much.
Priyanka, go ahead.
Please,
Priyanka, go ahead. Priyanka, go ahead.
So I was trying not to make this about this political party versus the other one, and being a woman above all else, above all political lines is what we need to take a stance on. Whether this is right, whether the government should be giving it a priority or no. Unfortunately, we see the Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson coming and defending all the ills that are happening in Haryana. Now, let's not forget, when you mentioned Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao was a campaign that the Prime Minister started from the Red Fort, and it began from Haryana. We had brand ambassadors from Haryana, women brand ambassadors from Haryana. Yet we see nothing really happening. The NCRB data is extremely disappointing. Secondly, we've also seen them fudging data on a girl-boy ratio that Haryana is known for, where the girls are much lesser as compared to boys. They've been caught fudging that data as well. So I think it becomes the responsibility of the government, accountability of the government, to ensure that when they promise things, they live up to those promises. And if the police force is not doing its job, they should be held accountable. If the judiciary is not doing its job, or transfers need to happen, that needs to happen. So the government needs to take charge and say, and own up that this is something which is wrong, and we will work towards it. And like somebody before me was speaking, that these are the measures that the government should come up with and ensure and assure the women of the state that this is something that they will do.
Nilanjana, go ahead.
I just want to say that, even during the Congress regime, there were many cases. So it's not about any... No. Please let me finish. The fact of the matter remains, whether it is any political party, please understand. Today,
and I don't think anyone brought politics into it.
Earlier, in the earlier government, it was something else. Even then, there were no steps taken. There were no measures undertaken. There were absolutely no reforms. So let me just tell you, it's very easy to sit and talk on a television channel studio and rant, but the fact of the matter remains, even as an opposition also, you are not giving it priority. Why don't you fight it out?
If you are sitting in the television studio, you fight it out in the parliament and you express your views and force the government.
I love how it becomes a responsibility. You're holding the government, the Congress party. Unfortunately, I'm also making it political.
As an
opposition, to see you making it political. Where when we are in government, you accuse us. When we are in opposition, you accuse us. You do not hold the government of the day accountable.
Okay. Hang on. We don't have time. We don't have time for a political squabble. I want accountability. Ladies, I want accountability.
And here you have them, and it's time to hold
I want accountability.
You talk about...
One second. I want accountability. And I want from each panel... I want from each panelist today...
to not holding the government accountable, but the opposition...
Okay, Priyanka, let's not get derailed. Sujay Kantawala, ladies, calm down. Calm down. Let's not get derailed from...
I think it is time that such hypocrisy is called out. Hold the government of the day accountable. This is a government which made promises.
Whether it is any political party, whether it is any... Sujay Kantawala, I want to know what we should demand at this point from the government of Haryana and UP.
Let's demand and take up place.
Ladies, please, I want you to set aside your differences because we have to be able to agree if we are going to get any work done tonight. I do not have time for a squabble. We need to put right now our demands before the government so we can understand what we need from this government and we can tell them very clearly. Sujay Kantawala, what do we need from this government right now to assure safety?
We need to rise above politics. We need to rise above politics. We need to speak in one voice, one nation, and we need to demand the death penalty for rape. That is one thing. We need to install fear, and fear died down to the bottom of the spine of these kind of elements, that these kind of incidents should never happen. I can understand the difficulties which the police is facing, but what we need to triple our force. We need recruitments, and we also need time limits for filing a charge sheet. We also need a fast track court right up to the Supreme Court, and there should be time limit at every stage so that evidence is not lost. Thirdly, we need to educate our police force once again and make them read their own manual, which says that in case of cross-border issues, the FIR has to be lodged at the nearest available police station. You don't have to go from one state to another and one DCP has to say go back to that state or take the victim to that state.
Already there.
So therefore,
FIR. It's already there.
So therefore, we need the criminal law to immediately swing into action, apart from the fear that has to be installed. Otherwise, there is no hope. And let us rise above politics. Let us not say, you did this, you did that. We have to rise above
the politics. Right. Milan is on the phone line from Goa. Milan's on the phone line from Goa. Milan, go ahead very quickly.
Yeah. First, I'm congratulating Milan now, because every now and then you are bringing these stories. It is a good. Not only it is happening in northern state, all over the country. Now hundreds of thousands rape cases are going on. But there is no solution. Government is not taking any action. There should be some action. And I think the death penalty is the only solution to tackle the rapist. And I am surprised the BJP one gentleman who is sitting on your show, when he is talking about this, there are so many loopholes and all, indirectly is encouraging the rapist. He should condemn the rapist. He is indirectly encouraging the rapist.
He should condemn the rapist. Amit is also on the phone line from Delhi. Amit, do you have family members in Delhi who feel safe, Amit? Do you feel safe in Delhi?
I actually, yeah.
Amit, go ahead.
Delhi for the last 20 odd years.
You have lost that connection with Amit. Okay. Okay, we might have lost that connection with Amit. We'll try and get him back again. Raman Mallik, what has everybody on this panel has said some very simple things. That unless the tone coming out of the government is strong and firm, the message you are sending out is extremely weak. What is this footage we are seeing on our screen of Uttar Pradesh police napping when they should be patrolling the highways, after we have repeatedly pointed out the fact that there are rapes happening on the highways, there are rapes happening on the roads? What is this business of saying that, oh, you know, a 2-year-old got raped and a 5-year-old got raped and a 7-year-old got raped, but we caught the perpetrators? Children are getting raped in your state. What is this business of saying that it has taken over 35 days to find the perpetrator of a gang rape because the victim was not able to give us more information? Do you expect us as women now to collect other information and correct the copy of the person's driver's license and fingerprinting? Should we do it ourselves? Will that make your life a little easier?
Can I now rebut?
Go ahead.
Will you let me rebut?
It's a debate. Go ahead. Rebut.
Will you let me rebut? Sure. This shows two things. This shows two particular things. One, when I told you that most of the cases have happened so, there was somebody who was saying no, it does not happen so, that it is a known person. But then there are known person, and that is proven by the records available, and you can do the research yourself. Number two, when I said that these two were caught, it was not to show that yes, these things happen. The only thing is, wherever there is any proof which is, let's say, which is quality in nature, the action happens faster than the other ones. I am not saying the action does not happen on the other one. The third thing, as per as the case of the this particular case today, which is about the one which was filed in Noida, our police has very categorically said they will help in whatever manner is required by the Noida police, and if need be, they will be doing their parallel search, and wherever they are able to find the person, they will even do so. Fourth, which is very important, we as a state, as an administration, have a very clear no tolerance policy for these people. We accept that everybody has rights which are prescribed under the Constitution, but at the same time, those people who are convicted, who are people who are found to do these kind of heinous crime, should not be tolerated in this society. And mind it, most of the people, whether it is the cops, lawyers, us, you, anybody, we are part of this society. Society also needs to upgrade now. The software may have been old, but we need to upgrade it now. We need to honor, respect our daughters. We need to accept as they are. But at the same time, we must also be wary about people around us, which we are not doing as a society. And I am not talking as a politician here, I am talking as a father also.
Alright, Raman Mallik, I gave you time to rebut after everything that all of our panelists have said, and I want to remind our viewers of the kind of things our panelists said. Shamina Shafiq, Priyanka Chaturvedi, Nilanjana Chakraborty, the three women on the panel pointed out that we need street lighting, we need CCTV cameras, we need police officers that are held accountable. We've had Uday Sahay, Sujay Kantawala, who pointed out legally and in a law and order point of view that we should not take police responses at face value. If the police is not able to make an arrest in 35 days, the government should crack down hard on them. Sujay pointed out that we need to have harder, stronger laws as far as the death penalty for rapists. What is Raman Mallik telling us? Society needs to upgrade its software. We need to learn to respect our daughters more. This sort of vague sloganeering, this sort of vague rhetoric is not a solution to the fact that women are being raped and murdered every day. Let's upgrade the software of society. How can you, with any conscience, say something like this to me? Women are being crushed on a daily basis from the womb to the grave. Our fundamental rights are being taken away from us every day. There are three people who are meant to be looking after the fundamental rights of an average citizen. That is the police, the government, and the judiciary. How much longer are you going to let us down for? How much longer are you going to serve us with this sort of lip service and rhetoric and tell us that, oh, you must have known the guy, which is why he raped you, or oh, you didn't know the guy, so we can't find him. This is nonsense. This is not good enough. We're never going to accept it. Never ever. And you can come to the shows and say whatever you want, but if you've not made an arrest for 35 days and other people have started to figure out that the easy thing to do in the NCR region, which is our national capital, is to pick up a girl off the street and gang rape her for 8 hours because the police is absolutely useless. The government is absolutely useless, that they can do absolutely nothing to stop you. This is the world we live in the national capital. What's going to happen in the rest of the country? The government needs to be more accountable. If at the very least, apologize. Say sorry. Say sorry because you weren't able to do your job. And if you don't want to apologize because it's too embarrassing, then do your job. Do more. Do better. Because we are watching. Here on Mirror Now, on the urban debate, women will come first. Their rights will come first, and we will bring this up every single day. Thanks for watching.